Every city has its secrets, and that includes the city of Intramuros. Ako po si Carlos Celdran, and this week's episode of Kwentong Kanto is about the dark past of Fort Santiago. Fort Santiago is a defense fortress that was built by the Spaniards headed by Miguel Lopez de Legazpi. Back then, in Spanish, it was called the Fuerza de Santiago. The Tagalogs called it Moog ng Santiago. Fort Santiago is located on the banks of the Pasig River Delta facing Manila Bay and on the northeast corner of Intramuros. It overlooks Manila Bay and was built to protect the city of Manila from invaders. Fort Santiago is one of the oldest fortifications inside Intramuros. The Spaniards encountered many battles with the Muslims and the native Tagalogs, but the Spaniards destroyed settlers in the area and built Fuerza de Santiago in 1571. This fortification was completed nearly 150 years later using Filipino labor. This first fort was made out of logs. Most of it was destroyed by the Spanish-Chinese War in 1574 to 1575. It was a bloody battle, but the Spaniards eventually won. The fort was constructed with hard stone in 1589 and was completely finished in 1592. It is shielded by a 22 feet high by 8 feet thick wall. The Fort Santiago became the main port for the galleon trade, a route that brought Chinese products to Mexico and eventually civilian Spain via the city of Manila. In addition to the dark side of Fort Santiago, it became the prison and torture chamber for many Filipinos during the Spanish colonial period. Its notorious dungeons were located below the tide level of the Pasig River, and they say the Spanish would keep Filipinos there so they could drown them out once a month. And it was here that Jose Rizal composed his final poem, Mi Ultimo Dios, that he gave his sister on his last day. In World War II, Fort Santiago was captured by the Japanese and received heavy damage from American military artillery at the end of World War II, in February of 1945. But the fort was later restored by the Intramuros administration in the 1980s. And today, the fort serves as a museum which houses well-preserved legacies of our Spanish past. And there's anything you can learn from Fort Santiago is that even though your past may be dark, the lessons that you learn from its history can be the light that shines you towards the future. Ako po si Carlos Celdran, and this is Kwentong Kanto, and I invite you all down to Intramuros to see this light for yourself. Hasta luego.